What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the sort of preparation that goes into planning for a 1,000-mile road trip in an all-electric vehicle. More importantly, my Tesla Model S that is 5 years old, has 100,000 miles. Not that that's really relevant, but just sort of to tell you what I'm working with. We're going to go into more detail once I get in the car, but yeah, I'm going to sort of show you how I prep for it. Sort of spoiler alert, you don't really have to do anything. Yeah, but we'll hop in the car in just a second. I do want to show you, we celebrated Hanukkah last night, so I got like one or two more gifts, and well, one really important gift, especially for the channel. Wait for it, wait for it. Boom. Yes, this little tiny black box. If you don't know what it is, it's a draggie. And basically what this does is you put this in the front of your windshield on your car, and it connects to GPS satellites, and it just sits in your car, and there's an iPhone application, and well, this thing sends data to your iPhone that allows you to track, you know, 0 to 60 times, eighth mile times, quarter mile times, half mile times, all those fun facts that Drag Times, Brooks at Drag Times, another YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. He does a lot of stuff. He uses, I think, the Draggy as well as another thing called the V-Box. The V-Box is like over $300, $350, $370, $400. I don't know. It's expensive. This I believe is just over $100. You can find them on Amazon, and well, it's nice and small, and it has a nice application for your iPhone. I think Android as well, but it is very neat, very cool. And when we can actually get some 0 to 60 and quarter mile times and even half mile times for my Tesla, or for any car for that matter, if you can just pop this into any car and you're off. So I'm very excited for this. I have been very curious to know the actual 0 to 60 numbers on my car, especially now that it is a 5-year-old car with around 100,000 miles. We're just 400 some miles away from that. And yeah, so I don't know if this will be in today's vlog, but if not, stay tuned. Some new content in the new year. This, maybe Model 3 Performance, maybe BMW X3, maybe a tuned Volvo, maybe an Abarth, a Fiat 500 Abarth, maybe my Tesla Model S. It should be good stuff. But either way, we're heading out right now. I'm gonna go get in my car. I have some errands to run. It's a little, weather's not great outside. It's a little rainy, but we're gonna be covering road trip prep, I guess. How I prepare for a 1,000-mile. I've never done a 1,000-mile road trip, let alone by myself. So it should be interesting. But let's go hop in the Tesla. Let's get out of here, and let's go over some features on the Tesla itself and some other things that I use as well. So the most obvious thing, I have a home dedicated charger now. When you're going on a long road trip, you want to charge the car to full. Now, we all know that it's not good to charge your car to full every single day, but when you're going on a road trip, just come in here, go ahead and set the limit, put it all the way to the max. I'm definitely going to do this because I've already mapped out my first supercharger. However, this isn't necessary. For example, once you start figuring out where your supercharger stops are, you know the distance that it will take to get to that first supercharger. If you don't need the full trip amount, this is what I refer to in trip amount, daily amount. So this is like a 90% daily amount. This is 100% for when you're taking a trip. So if you don't need the trip amount, the 100% capacity, well, you still don't need to charge to there. If you can make it to the supercharger with plenty of range, the only benefit is that, well, you get to the supercharger with more range, meaning you have to charge for less amount of time. So it's kind of up to you, but if you can make it, you don't have to. It's not a big deal. The problem is I'm going on a road trip that requires, I think I'm doing 6 supercharger stops. That's my signal that we should get out of the garage and continue this on the road. All right, so first and foremost, if you just go to navigate and you want to sort of figure out what supercharger you're gonna have to stop at, when I say you don't have to plan on a Tesla, if you're going to, let's just say, Venice, Florida, you can put in Venice, and it says finding superchargers for your trip. So as long as your car, so like my car has 220 miles of range right now, if you put this in, it will figure out what superchargers you need to stop at all the way along your route. Here we go. You can already see it's mapping it out. We have those superchargers.
Now turn right onto Shady Grove Road.
And navigation starts right up. you're good to go. So if we look at this, this is indicating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 superchargers, which is actually more than I thought it would do. But here as well, you can begin the trip, or what you can do is you can go through and see all the superchargers that you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we would be arriving in Venice, Florida at the beach with 10% battery left. So this is actually very handy. You don't really have to do any mental or any physical preparation for the trip because Tesla does actually take care of it. I'll be honest, if I didn't have a Tesla, I don't know that I would even consider doing this 1,000-mile road trip from Maryland all the way to Florida, because I wouldn't know where to stop to charge, if the chargers would be working, if they would be full or not, how much it would cost, all of that jazz. Granted, I don't really know how much it would cost if I had to pay for supercharging, but either way, that just goes through your Tesla account. You don't really have to worry about it. The nice thing is that as I'm driving down, I can actually tap on the supercharger and it tells me right now that 6 of 8 stalls are available. So as I'm driving down the highway even, I can tap on the supercharger icon and it will pop up superchargers that are within range of my car, or just the map in general if I zoom out. And I can see exactly the max speed that the supercharger will charge at, how many stalls are there, and how many stalls are available at any given moment. There is a bit of a lag sometimes in the stalls that are available, but either way, it doesn't really matter. You can sort of see what's around. It gives you an idea of like, okay, food, bathrooms, I guess coffee shops, shopping, and Wi-Fi available. And then it tells you how far it is. So this supercharger is 135.5 miles from me. I have 220 miles of range on my Tesla. Should be plenty, even if I'm, you know, really burning through that range, because I often do. But it is very nice. And then you can also see the next supercharger, you can see how many stalls are taken. So the little red dots right there are what indicate how many stalls are being taken. So there's currently 2 in use out of 8 as well at that one. If we go down here, this actually doesn't even say how many stalls are available, but it does say 150 kilowatts max idle fees. It might just be because it's out of range. We wouldn't even be able to get there. But yeah, so this is actually very handy. You really don't have to do any planning in a Tesla. You just punch in an address and it tells you where to stop. So you don't have to think about it too much. The total trip is going to be 99 miles. It says 18 hours and 49 minutes right now, so it shouldn't be too terrible. Now, the other thing I have here is my my iPhone PlugShare. So if you go into PlugShare, you can actually create a trip, a Venice trip. And here you can see I actually only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 superchargers. This last one is very close to my final destination, and that's just to get my battery back to like a full charge. I think the biggest thing to consider, especially when you're going somewhere foreign, is until you get the lay of the land, where you're going to be and what chargers are available and where you can plug your car in, hit up a supercharger as close as possible to your destination, charge as long as you can, and also figure out how far that supercharger is in case you have to go back to it. So this last supercharger is about 22 miles, I think, from where I'm actually gonna be. And well, normally when I planned out the trip on PlugShare, it didn't tell me to stop there. I actually added a 6th supercharger because I wanted to make sure my battery was going to be nice and full when I got to my final destination, and I wanted to drive the least amount of range before getting to my final destination after supercharging. So I added that last stop just for precaution, safety measures, whatever you want to call it, to make sure I had a good amount of range on my car. But PlugShare is a great app. Let's actually, I gotta return some stuff real quick. I'm at Home Depot once again, but I'm gonna return some stuff. We're actually gonna pop onto the app, and I'll show you exactly how I planned out this trip and how easy it actually is to choose and map out all of these superchargers and why I pick certain superchargers. One other thing to consider is like how many stalls are at a supercharger, and then reading reviews about certain superchargers and how busy certain superchargers are. So I'm gonna get into that in just a second, but I'm gonna run and return some stuff. So give me like 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. I'll be right back. So I sort of lied because there's actually a golden retriever puppy that my parents are watching. So real quick dog vlog because, well, I mean, it's a golden retriever pup. Well, I think it's like 11 months, 8 months, 11 months, something like that. Still under a year. So it's a puppy for all intents and purposes. Let's go say hey. Winston! What's up, buddy? Hey! How are you? Does he pee when he gets excited? Alright, what's up, buddy? Hey there. Hey there. Look at you. Well, definitely a successful little stop there. Winston's a pretty cute little guy. I don't know how many months he is, but he's a biter. Well, not really a biter, more of just like he likes having like a toy in his mouth, and if he doesn't have a toy in his mouth, then he just kind of like puts his mouth around your hand, but doesn't really bite. So very friendly dog. Gotta love Goldens because of that. And well, unfortunately, I won't really be here to hang out with him at all because I'm leaving for Florida tomorrow, bright and early. But maybe we'll see. I don't really know when I'm leaving, but anyways, let's get back to. I actually have to run 2 more errands, but for you guys it'll be like 2 seconds. We're gonna get the PlugShare app. Either I'll record my phone, or maybe I think they have a website too, so maybe I'll be able to pull it up on there and show you the exact thing I went through and why I chose certain superchargers. Do laundry and pack, and whew, yeah, it's a lot of prep for the road trip. Good thing my Tesla is a very small amount of that because I don't really have to think about all the superchargers that I'm going to. So anyway, let's get out of here. The biggest thing for me on this is definitely having supercharger checked off, and well, that's really all I need to do. So right here I have this Venice trip. I have 8 stops, so that's 6 superchargers, and then it also includes the start and stop location, so it's already in here, but I'm going to walk you through how I sort of got to that. So if we do plan a new trip, we get this trip planner that pops up on the right hand side of the screen, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of this. All right, perfect. So once you put those in, you can see all of the chargers along the route. And the way this works is it's a search radius of 2 miles along the route. So as long as it's like within, I assume, 2 miles of like the highway, then they will pop up on here. And the orange signifies superchargers, greens are just other types of chargers. I'm just going to go with that. So on here we have a range estimate of 253 miles. I like to usually drop that down and just assume I'm only doing like 215, 220 miles of range. I think it makes it a little bit better just in case you're not as efficient as you think you are. Plus I am definitely not as efficient as my car displays. So if you start to zoom in along the map, you can now see all possible chargers that you can stop at. So I always like to go to the furthest possible supercharger because you're going to get the best bang for your buck while you supercharge. If your battery's lower and you're supercharging, it will charge at a faster rate. So you just want to always kind of go as far as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and click this, and here we can see the supercharger amount, and there are 8 stations available here. So I am just going to go ahead and say add trip. I've actually been at the supercharger before, went here on my way down to the Outer Banks. So now you can see this is our starting location. The next supercharger, it's 2 hours and 9 minutes away, 136 miles, and we still have 847 miles left on our trip. So then you can continue down, and we can now see that our new range was extended down to here. And well, you can check out what superchargers these are. So if you click on Fayetteville Supercharger, you can see 120 kilowatts, 16 stations, this supercharger, 4 stations. So I definitely want to avoid 4 stations because, well, they could potentially be full. So I don't want to, get stuck waiting for people. And this one has 8. So if we can, the ideal situation would be to make it all the way to the Fayetteville Supercharger because there's 16 stations available. And, well, much better odds of there being an open stall when we arrive. So let's go ahead and add this to the trip. And you can see that it's 195 miles, about 3 hours away. So 195 should be plenty of range, charge up to 220, 230, maybe be a little bit careful, but we can always stop before that, knowing that there is this other supercharger right here if we really have to. So now you can see our range again increases, and this is the Santee supercharger, the Florence supercharger, and the Savannah supercharger. So the Savannah is actually out of reach, but I want to go to the Santee anyway. I've heard kind of bad things about the Savannah supercharger. It's either busy, so if I go ahead and do the Santee supercharger here, go ahead and add that to trip, only 151 miles. Range again gets bumped out to this green line. And again, there's only 2 in this range. So either the Savannah, which is pretty close, or now we can make it all the way to the Kingsland supercharger. This one, if you click on it, again, Tesla, there's 2 stations, and then there's also 6 superchargers. So we're gonna test it out. Hopefully 6 is significant enough. We're gonna add this to our trip as well. 208 miles to that one, so we're definitely gonna be charging for about an hour here. But now you can see that this, again, gets larger. We're almost down to Venice, but not quite. And, well, let's go to Ocala, because this one's going to be not quite as far. You don't want to go all the way to the end of your range, because if you lose efficiency, the range is going to get shorter. 139 miles. Now, with this amount of mileage left, you could make it. However, I always like to have as much range as possible when getting to a destination. So I'm actually going to go ahead and add in the Sarasota Supercharger. And, well, if I have time, I'll definitely stop. If I don't, I can always continue to my destination. But you might as well supercharge as much as possible, unless you know for a fact on the other end you have a dedicated charger you can plug in overnight and get back a significant amount of range. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw this on there because I have the time and I might as well take advantage of it. And then, as you can see, I'm only about 23 miles away from the final destination. So as you can see, it calculates total distance for you, 14 hours and 60 minutes. I assume this is not with superchargers. And I think these are the superchargers that I will be aiming for tomorrow. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I mean, I really just, I utilize PlugShare. I really don't use the computer. I said the computer because it's easy to screen share that. But the app does the exact same thing. You put in your final destination, and then you just kind of tap superchargers along the way. It adds it to your trip, and then you're good to go. You can choose the total range on your car. So if you had a different car, obviously, or battery degradation or whatever, you can change the range limitation on your car. And it's pretty easy to plan that way. But again, the Tesla sort of takes care of it for you. So luckily, I don't really have to think too much about it. It should be pretty simple. I know my stops. I know what I'm doing. I've done road trips before, so not a big deal. The only issue is potentially all the chargers being in use. But that's why I like to go where there's more superchargers than not. All right, well, we are ready for our road trip tomorrow. We got our beautiful Cars and Kyle sticker on the back here. We also got the garage organized today. We got these hooks for, what is it? Hanukkah Harry? Yeah, for Hanukkah. We got some garage hooks. Nice and easy gift there, but the car is ready. She's fairly clean now. I assume she's not gonna be clean by the time we get to Florida, but we are ready. She is plugged in. We are gonna charge to full just because, well, that's obviously, this is the time to do it, so why not? I'm definitely gonna try to take advantage of the range, but I think that's gonna be it. I gotta get some sleep. I have to do one last load of laundry, finish packing up the car, and we should be hitting the road. So if you see me out there on the highway, I guess wave and honk. I don't know. Say hi to Superchargers, but we will be heading down to Florida, maybe bright and early, but I might sleep in a little bit. Hopefully traffic will be light because it's New Year's Eve. But anyways, if you guys enjoying the content, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed and is watching the channel. Happy New Year and safe travels. Don't drink and drive, and be safe out there. But until next year, guys, thanks for watching.